Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another vibe trading session here with Team Senpai. Today we will be doing like what we do every day, vibe trading with Senpai, which if you haven't joined our streams before is an autonomous trading platform here on Base, future of wallets, if you will. I'm going to take a couple minutes to do a crash course on Senpai, how it is, or what it is, how it works. We'll walk through just a couple quick things. If you've used the platform before, it'll just be a little refresher. If you're brand new, this is the first time watching your stream, it's a couple things to look out for is one, we'll have some classic rock going. We always have a fresh espresso, and we will be catching live trades all autonomously placed by our Senpai AI agent. So if that happens, we'll jump into the trade, we'll manage it, but we won't intervene. We have take profits and stop losses set on everything right now. So we're just going to let Senpai do its thing. But to get us started, we are going to do just a quick walkthrough on kind of what you're seeing on your screen. So if you log into Senpai, you're not confused, you kind of know what's going on. So to get us going here, the first things you're going to see when you log in, and when you go to senpai.ai, again, everything I'm showing you is live. You'll be able to log in using Privy, which is our wallet provider. You will get a smart wallet, which is considered your agent wallet. Once you approve this at the bottom left of your screen here, you'll get a fresh agent wallet, which is a new OX address. You can fund that in a whole bunch of different ways, whether it's with your credit card, through an exchange, through the wallet. You can send it from another wallet to the OX of your agent wallet. Really easy, under 30 seconds to sign up. It's totally free. You'll see me doing a ton of research during this live stream, and that's one of the great features of Senpai, is the intelligence that's baked on top of your wallet. It's kind of exciting, right? Like you think about wallets for the past forever have just been kind of capsules for your currency, where today we're actually building intelligence right into that. And Senpai is getting smarter every day. So we're going to walk through a bunch of stuff that I'm doing myself to trade with Senpai, to build autonomous trading strategies, and as well walk through some of the newly launched features, things like Discovery, which means that with our new Discovery feature, you can log into Senpai and in under 30 seconds get a strategy set up and copy some of the best groups built by Senpai traders across the platform. So the second thing you're going to notice here is, like any of the major LLMs, when you log in, you'll see some pre-baked prompts. At the top here, the first time you log in, there'll actually be an Awaken Your Senpai button. If you click that, it'll start this user onboarding journey, which I really like to do. It will walk you through how to do a basic research query, how to add users, top P&L users to a group, and then how to build a strategy based on that. So do recommend doing that. The top left of your screen, you're going to see a couple of things. One is the chat history, and that is, 1 second here. It looks like Senpai just bought us a token right as the live stream started. We're going to come back to this crash course in just a second. But if you see this flash on the screen, you know that we've got a token, and let's go see what Senpai's bought us. This is the fun part about having a bunch of strategies live as we jump into things. So we can see we bought this ham token. We'll jump over to Dex and throw it in for the 1 second candles and just get a look at it. Ham, the first space chimp, and looks like this chart's going pretty parabolic for the last couple hours, sitting at a sub. That's just over 55K market cap. It just triggered one of our rules. So this buy $10 worth. If anyone from my Raiders group buys with over $250 purchase, this is the trader that triggered it. It will sell if it reaches a 30% profit, or a stop loss will trigger if the price drops 16%. The market cap has to be between 20 and 50K. So, it looks like we found exactly what we were looking for. Let's take a look here and see where we are in. I mean, this thing's moving up. Again, we're not going to touch it. We're just going to let it do its thing. If we go to our wallet here, we can see our ham. Wonder if I were to sell it now. Yes, it's pretty much dead even from where we bought it. So we'll let that go, do its thing. We'll check back in on it in a minute. I like to pick up the trades as they come in live. Sometimes that happens. It's right as I start the live stream. It does look like, base chain has picked up over the last 48 hours a little bit. We were in a bit of a lull towards the end of June. Obviously, Bitcoin and some of the leading commodity indicators in crypto are doing really well. But, it's just been a little bit sleepy in the meme coin game. I think everyone's feeling that. Less transactions, DEX volume's down just a little bit. But I saw it picking back up earlier when I checked DeFi Llama. So who knows, maybe we got a big July coming for us. So top left of your screen here, I'm just going to continue this crash course. You have skills and templates. These are all of the different abilities that exist within Senpai. things like autonomous trading, groups, which are an integral part of the experience, limit orders, which is, DeFi, able to take profits or buy dips, just a whole bunch of stuff. And if you're brand new, you haven't used Senpai, click through these. You can get a good idea of how to combine things like research into the execution environment, how to combine some of these different autonomous trading rules when you read through the capabilities, how to include things like stop losses and limit orders. There's a whole bunch of really great stuff in here. So read that. And all of our skills are built on Eliza OS open source framework. So just means that Senpai is infinitely extendable on the back end, right? Anyone with a verticalized crypto product, a existing Eliza OS plugin can plug that into Senpai, get access to the agent wallets, the users, and do so with little to no effort. I'm working on a skill now. I've built a skill previously with one of our team members, and it's pretty easy, pretty fun to go and get one integrated. So if you're a developer and that's interesting to you in any way, or maybe you just have a team with a verticalized crypto product, something that's really specific that an AI agent integration would make sense, this is a great time to reach out to me, reach out to our team, and we'd love to talk about how we get you on. So keep an eye out. We'll have a lot more skills coming in the coming weeks. I know we've got a couple that we're working on now, a couple more that are planned. Bottom left above the agent wallet, you're going to see a couple different tabs in the dashboard section. First is referrals. We're working on some pretty exciting updates to this, but right now you get 25% of anyone you refer as trading fees. So you can see I've got a bunch of different referrals here. You'll see the unique link. This is what you need to share. You can copy it. You can share it to Farcaster directly to X, or if you've got like an alpha group or a traders group that you're part of on Telegram, you could share it right in there just with the Telegram button. Super easy to do. Take advantage of it. If you're bringing friends into the platform, I think you should be rewarded. And 25% of trading fees in perpetuity is a pretty great reward for it. I'm going to skip over the Discover tab in a second because we're going to spend the first couple of minutes talking through that specifically and go to groups. Groups are different cohorts of users that you've built, or using Discover tab, you've added. You can see I've added a couple here that are not built by me. They're built by other users. But I'll jump into a couple that I've built here. And at the top level, you'll see a couple different columns. Let me just walk you through those. So you've got the group, which will have the group name. If they're yours, they'll be blue. If they're by someone else, they'll be white. And then you'll see the name of the creator denominated under here. These are different Senpai users that have built these groups I'm using. You'll see how many trades, and this is affected. You could choose 7-day, 30-day, 1 day for filters. So this is over a 7-day period. You see the volume, you see the P&L, and then you see my trades against them. You can see my Raiders the last 7 days are not doing so great. We can go to 30-day, get a look at these slices of data as well. Ignore this P&L because we're doing some updates here. I haven't lost $97 million on Raiders. But if we click into here, you can actually see the trades of each individual user or trader that you have in your group, the volume, the P&L, how many trades they've taken, their volume, your P&L against them. Again, haven't lost 97 million, but I did make $50 on this trader here, who actually is the one that just triggered our current trade here, which looks like it's dipping off. We've dropped off about 4,500 to 5K in market cap since we last checked it. That's all right. We're going to let it ride. We're National Geographic stance here on the Vibetrading stream. I don't intervene. I'm just going to let my take profits and my stop losses trigger as they will. I trust the system, and we'll just let them do their thing. So you can filter this in a whole bunch of different fun ways. Time, you can edit, drop people out if you want to remove them, or on the other side, you can add folks in. So if I want to add my buddy Kazi, you can go in here and search across Farcaster, ENS, base names, OX, all that good stuff. We got everyone on base in here. Really easy to use, very valuable. And we'll walk through how I add people to groups, how I find smart money traders, snipers, people that are always early, seem to always know something, and we build groups. Orders, these are where all your orders live. So for example, we just bought this ham token, which is this ham, the first space gem, which is a hilarious name for a token. We see we bought $9 of it. We can see a limits open. We could actually jump in if we wanted to go look at where the limit order is living, which is on CowSwap right now. We can see it's not filled. And then you can continue to scroll right and see your current P&L. You can see this is an unrealized P&L. We can see what triggered the rule itself, who triggered it, all the good stuff, and then your limit orders. And this is where specifically limit orders live. A lot of these are canceled because either I traded myself, broke my own rule. I'm just, sometimes I want to get involved. or a stop loss triggered. Could be either or, but we can see an open limit order here for this ham token. We go to the right, we see that they have a 7-day default until they'll kill, but that'll be here. I could cancel this if I wanted to close out the sell side on it, but we're going to leave it open. We're just going to let Senpai do its thing, and I'm confident this thing will bounce back up, right? I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and do TA on a meme coin. I just don't believe in that. I believe in looking at a chart shape, looking at where the money's moving, some momentum, maybe looking at, if it's a real project or just a straight meme coin like Ham, the space chimp. But in our case, we've got take profit, we've got stop loss. We're good. We'll just let them ride. So that's kind of the crash course. The top right of your screen, you'll see two more things actually I want to mention. New chat. If you ever get stuck on something or you get a response that you're not expecting, you can go and hit the, let's just see if this works. You can hit the thumbs down arrow. This will send it directly to our backend team and let us investigate what's going on there. But if you ever do get stuck on something, you can just hit new chat and get a fresh chat window. It's just kind of like a hard restart on it and go try again. Top right, you'll see a link to the dojo here. I'll flash a QR code a couple times throughout the stream. You'll see it on your screen. It was during the countdown I had it up. But essentially, if you scan this QR code, it'll bring you into our team's Telegram. This is a great place to interact with myself, with our team. We have almost 750 Senpai traders in there today. We share alpha on what's coming down the roadmap for Senpai. We talk about strategies. We talk about groups. Basically, everything that's happening on base in this trading sphere that we live in, we talk about it in there. It's a great place to interact with other folks, but also give us feedback on Senpai itself. One thing you'll find about the Senpai team, very responsive, very transparent. We build in public. We will talk to anyone that's using the product. We actually love to. So if you have any feedback, things you want to see in the product, it's a great place to jump in and let us know. Good or bad, it's all on our end. Good to hear. So let's jump into it. The first thing I want to talk through is the newly launched Discover feature. Predominantly before, when you're coming to Senpai, you would have to go and do some research, add OX addresses, copy OX addresses or traders from different places. Maybe you had Telegram groups or whatever it might be. Today, you can log in under 30 seconds, totally free. Like I said, you can log in with Google, Telegram, or Google, X, Farcaster, popular wallets, kind of any of these, expected logins. Once you get in, you'll be able to go to this Discover tab now and see all the top groups by people that have built them across the Senpai platform. At the top here, you'll see top ROI. You can filter to top P&L. So, for example, Whale here by Dama9on. You could see, they have a 9.4% ROI, a 6 million P&L across all of these 35 traders in here. That's just the member count, the win rate of all these traders, and then the scam rate. Scam rate is something that we've included because we think that it's important to be able to see kind of some risk that might exist there. Again, Senpai has the Senpai Scam Shield built into it, into the product. So before Senpai ever autonomously trades the token, it analyzes the contract, the address, and looks for nefarious mechanics, any honeypots, rug pulls, anything that might be considered nefarious or scammy, and will block the trade before it happens. And I'll show you just on my orders page how many tokens actually get blocked. But I think it's important to show that, like, okay, historically, over X amount of time, this is how many scam tokens these traders have bought. So you'll see one active strategy if you've got an active strategy live with one of these users. But let me show you just how easy it is to actually build and copy one of these groups. So we'll find a group we like first. Let's go top ROI. You can also go top win rate, which I think is interesting, right? Like ROI, to me, it's about balancing ROI, win rate, scam rate, kind of all these things. I'm looking for well-rounded groups, not necessarily looking for moonshots. I think that, and I'll walk you through how I have strategies that focus on, for example, Farcaster snipers, Clanker snipers, people that trade tokens in the first 5 to 10 minutes specifically. That is one group to itself. Then we have really smart traders. We have traders that are, I would say, are very advanced. They use advanced tools. They understand the market. They are probably do this pretty much as a day trade or, almost full time. They have their own group. They buy tokens sometimes over 1 million market cap, but they understand that, that token's dipped. And so I have different groups for these things. And I apply some of the same principles to sorting out these groups, but just more a balanced sense of ROI, win rate, scam rate. So I'm looking for something like when I see 29,000 trades, it's there tells me that there's probably some automation in there. Maybe a bot, a market maker's been added. I'm actually looking for actual users. I want to trade the human element of the edge. And Do Be Knowing by QT looks interesting to me. 45 trades, 73% ROI, 8,900 PNL, super reasonable, 67% win rate, which in meme coins is amazing. Trading early stage tokens is like early stage venture investing, right? You need to kiss a lot of frogs to find the princess, to say. So it's like if you take 10 trades and two or three of them are big winners, they're going to pay off your losers 100x. So maybe not, but they'll pay it over multiple times. And this is a winning strategy if I can replicate it. So for me, even Ignis's P&L base group here is really great. But I'm going to use Doobie Knowing. I think that's fun. He's got 6 members in here, 45 trades. So I already know if I add a copy on this group, it's not going to bring me into a ton of trades. And we're working to beef up some of the info that you're seeing here as well. So maybe like how long on average that group holds a token. Maybe it's the average buy size. That's important to know as well, because when you're going and setting up triggers, which I'll do now. So look, you can hit copy, edit strategy, and then we have this quick copy strategy. So this is this is kind of the, one size fits all for all of my copies. And I'm going to say, we'll just do something novel, like $5 worth of tokens, if any one person in the group. But if we had more people, I would say maybe 2 people in the group buy a token with at least $250 within 2 minutes of each other. But in this case, because it's a small group, my guess is they're all very sharp traders. He's more or less trading them all one-to-one in a group sense. And I don't know the buy sizing, so I'm going to say buy me $5 worth of tokens if one person in this group buys at least $100, and we're going to say we're going to drop the token age. You can add token age, so if you want tokens that are less than 1 day old, 7 days, there's a variety of reasons why you do that. But we're going to go less than 50K, and we'll sell at 85% gain, and we're going to move our stop loss to 22%. I've been playing around with this. Stop losses are tricky because token's super volatile. Let's see where our token here is going. So this is traded down another 5, but I'm cool with that. We're just letting it do its thing. If a token drops off 10%, you don't want to necessarily lose exposure to that token. So I bumped mine up to between 18 and 22%. I've been just kind of playing with it, seeing is there tokens that initial dip I'm losing out on and I'm missing the upside. In this case, 22% is kind of our current testing environment for it. So we'll save that. And then it's simple as this. You're just going to go back to this Do Be Knowing. We'll hit copy, and we're live. So now we go to our strategies page. You see I just clicked that little link there, but you can also find strategies on the left side in your dashboard section. You'll see this new strategy living here. This is live today. It could trigger on stream. I don't know. He's only got a couple traders in there, so one of them would have to trigger based on these conditions to get me in. But we see, I've got a whole bunch of strategies going through. And before I walk through the strategies, I'm going to talk you through our groups, and we're going to go back to Discover. We're going to try out some new groups. We have some really amazing traders in the Senpi ecosystem right now. Every day we post the trade of the day. And for an example, 2 days ago, it was a 209% gain. Yesterday was about a 200% gain. I already checked today, and there's already an over 200% gainer. And there's starting to emerge some trends. There's a couple of folks that are clearly using the tool to the capacity it can be, and they're doing really well on it. To walk you through a couple of my groups, though, after a little espresso sip, because going through the Yapathon, you need to be fueled. So Raiders is folks that trade really, really early tokens across CT, across Farcaster. Whale Street Boys is experimental. I have a very small rule around it right now, but these are like cowboy traders. They lose money, they make money. It's up and down, but you can see like a pretty incredible aggregate P&L. And I'm still working through kind of trimming and pruning this group. And I have a process to all of this. Ways Anatomy, these are those traders that I think are really smart. They buy tokens at the right time. Don't be discouraged by any of these negative P&Ls on the 30-day. You can see based on their volume, like if 200 losing 30 on 260, it's like, one of these smaller traders losing $700 on 10K. Um, it all kind of comes out in the wash with good traders, especially over longer time horizons. So my focus is just to prune the groups, make sure that the traders are winning on the current meta. I think right now base is interesting. It's almost a little bit meta-less. Like you have virtuals had a really nice run up through June, and I feel like virtuals tokens really power a lot of the exciting stuff on base. Today, I feel like we're in some sort of I don't know, a bit of a form change in terms of the meta, but I'm not going to do too much science on that. So Quiz Anatomy is kind of smart traders. We have a couple groups from folks in the community that they built. My guy Delinsky, he's got a 5-member count group that looked really interesting to me. I would laugh. I know he had been copy trading one of my wallets, so I might be in there myself. I don't know, but Clanker Whales, Farcaster Snipers, which is something I'm working on. Probably do a little bit of work on that today, and I'll walk you guys through the logic of finding really niche snipers that are looking at and winning and replicating those wins across certain tokens. Um, so that's my groups. And then the strategies that I'm employing right now. Today, I'm using this like manual ladder strategy. So for example, buy $10 worth of any token. If one person buys, you see kind of the conditions I have here: market cap between 20 and 50K, market cap between 20 and 75K, increase the buy amount to trigger my buy, increase my buy amount. And this is you can see it continually scaling up. This is a strategy where if one of my traders in this group buys 3,000, they'll trigger the whole ladder. And then I have all these sell side conditions and take profit conditions in place as well. Very shortly, we'll be launching basically dynamic selling. So, okay, hey, Senpai, sell for me when the token's up 25%, sell me 10% of my stack. When it's up 50%, sell another 25%. When it's up another 10, you know what I mean? So you can all in one versus building out these individual rules. We're working on some exciting ways to shorten the distance on a lot of this user experience, and we're very deep in development on the mobile app. And the full mobile experience, I've seen it; it's amazing. It's gonna be very beautiful, but it'll be really easy. You'll be able to one tap a lot of things. And something I think we've learned talking to users, being power users of the product ourselves, is chat is very important for complex stuff, for understanding, for being able to actually have a conversation with your wallet. Um, but being able to click things into place, being able to go into your wallet and go, hey, swap hand for me, and one tap that out, that's pretty slick. And that's, the type of user experience I think people gravitate towards. So this hybrid chat, clickable element user experience is really exciting, and it's coming along really fast. Back to our strategies. So you see one ladder for Raiders, one ladder for this Grey's Anatomy group. We have just this experimental. I'm literally just buying $1 tokens when the Whale Street Boys buys, and kind of A/B testing this against some other stuff that I have going on. So we have another one here for 10. Are these the same? No, this is with completely different take profits. You can tell I pseudo pirated this music because there's a DJ tag coming in between songs, but if you like classic rock, this is your stream. All right, let's jump into it. We're going to do some research. We're going to start adding folks to groups. We'll go back to Discover. We'll find some more groups. We'll add them in. But first, and kind of one of the things I like to start off is, what's trending on base in the last 24 hours. And again, this isn't some groundbreaking feature to go what's trending on base. You can go click into dozens of sites and see what's trending in terms of tokens. But in my trading stack, I'm going to walk you through how I do this research and start peeling back layers at the trending tokens level, at the high, exciting P&L level on each of these tokens, and then digging into the traders and doing this all inside Senpi, and also importing some of the findings or things that I think are most interesting into the execution environment for my AI agent to actually place trades on. So there's some logic to doing it this way, and I'll walk you through that. So quickly, there's a couple of the top, not super interesting to me. Kita is interesting to be up here right now. Obviously, it's an AI token. You got a virtuals token. You got Kaido. Mamo's back up in the trends, which is cool. That's kind of a yield optimization agent. And okay. And Indexy by Kalo's up there at a 6 million market cap. So let's take a look at Indexy. You know what? We haven't I haven't done that before. So what I'm doing here, and when you're using Senpi, you can just type in, for example, we use a $ for tokens. So I could go indexy, drop in here, and we know this is the right one. We see the market cap, we see when it was created, we see the holders. You data proof this. For users, use an @ symbol, Kazi. Anytime you click and you've selected something, it'll turn blue. And then for groups, we use hashtag. So it's really easy. So we go here. You could paste an OX and get right to it if you have it handy. It'll go to the token symbol. Or again, I just go indexy, type it, click it, and we let Senpai do its thing. It's really easy to do. Once you get the hang of that, one of the reasons for this selection method is you don't want to be selecting the wrong tokens. We want to give you the right information, but also have a way to definitively add a contract address in here and resolve it to the token. Now, is our music done here? Or are we still going? Let's take a look. We're going to kick into our other classic rock playlist. All right, not too loud. There we go. Well, Senpai does that search. Let's take a look here. It looks like we're bouncing. Moving back up. I guess someone, if they were doing, some TA, might call this resistance, but I don't know about that. The token is 2 hours old. Let's just try this one more time. This is weird. Usually these things don't take so long. Let's try that again. So it looks like, just to go back to, and we'll double window here, which I'd like to do when I use LLMs. But if we go into our orders here, so we actually had our stop loss execute here. We had it set at about 18, 19%. And I guess on that drop from, somewhere here down to this bottom, it triggered on us somewhere here. We could actually see exactly where if we wanted. Just go into the makers and drop our, so you can see, Senpai did what it was supposed to here. Like I was saying earlier, I've increased my stop loss settings for most to around 22% because I still would like exposure on this token, but again, rules are rules. And, you can see we went in at about 989 and we got out at 811 for, a dollar and change loss. But there'll be more. And for me, it's about exposure to tokens, limiting the downside, and finding, that asymmetry in the upside as much as possible, which in Memecoins, there's lots, but there's a lot of downside. It's almost, disproportionately. So, and I know this because I've done data, analysis on every single pump.fund token that's ever been launched. I follow the base kind of Memecoin scene pretty tightly, and data's data. So looking at this, there's a couple things that I look for. And right now I'm still building this Farcaster snipers group. So I'm kind of looking for Farcaster native tokens. Who are the folks that bought in the first 1 to 5 minutes, typically with one transaction. So this is particularly interesting to me. This is really interesting to me, 8 into 32. And the sell transactions less interesting to me because folks will run a twop or sometimes will just hammer the sell button repeatedly to not clip the whole chart. But let's take a look at this user. And so you saw I just clicked here and it just dropped in this show P&L, and it'll do a full P&L of this user now. And what I'm looking for is, have they replicated this before, this type of gain? This is a 18x or 20x, somewhere in that range, just off the top of my head. And they're probably the most interesting trader on this P&L, but we'd probably take a look at this user, 8 to 32. Obviously, these guys got a lot of conviction on the buy. Now we take a look at what else they've done. So definitely a lot of Farcaster native tokens in here. I recognize pretty much all of them. Very interesting. So 3 into 27, one and like a lot to go off here. These are all single buys. This person, this user, may be a clanker sniper. Judging by the like only one buy transaction on all of these seems crazy. Let's go. So we're gonna add this user to a group called Thursday Research, which is just something I like to do. And we're working on ways to make this even easier. Yeah. Buy a meme coin every time they say Roxanne. And also, if you're in the chat on X, Twitter, YouTube, any of our spots, jump in the chat and let me know if you want me to look into any tokens, if you have any feedback. Happy to do it. I'm just checking to make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, so let's go to our groups. Let's get into our Thursday research group that we just built. We see our Thursday research. Let's go into base scan quick. Oh, whoa. What's going on here on base scan? Okay, we're actually looking for the OX address, thanks. All right, who's trading on base? This is our user. All right. Base scan's moving real slow today. Okay, we're just gonna store this. Moving super slow. Okay. Well, we found one trader. It's interesting. Looks like they probably sniped a lot of these. The snipe amounts are high. I'm not sure what's informing that. This was launched by Kilo. There's a lot of followers. Maybe they're running some quick check on Providence before they hit the snipe. Fog they hit for pretty nice gain stack. Like these are all pretty much the same. It's pretty interesting too. I would just like their OX, and this is something we're working on. So like right now, the reason why I can't pull up their direct OX, if we go to my groups, we go to my Thursday research, is we're resolving to this unique identifier. In a lot of cases, we'll show the OX address when that is not available. So I could copy this OX here and go drop that in. But looks like we've got them here. So let's go indexy. And this is kind of what I run, is put this here, drop the maker. So they got 21 days. So we're gonna have to get off the 1 second candles. Wow. So they bought it on the first candle. Let's just continue this. Wow. So 1815. So they bought 2 minutes after the token launched, and they bought 8K in the first hit. They sold a third of their position in 1 minute for essentially principal, and the rest they rode. So they missed a huge bag on this, but that's not what I care about. Let's take a look what else they hit here. I mean, Cook. They crushed it on Cook. I think these guys are doing some sort of provenance check. If they could just like they could be hitting an API for like an 8-hour score or something in real time to look up how many followers the user has, or there's something maybe they're doing there because this is pretty incredible as far as snipers go. Token address. Let's take a look at this one. Is this really it? Domain. So let's grab this again. Jump into the makers. Is this really the one? Wow. This token is cooked as far as tokens go. They bought 1,800 for 9 Bs at Cook. They bought 45. 15. Yeah, so pretty much on launch, hammered the sell button all the way up. Very interesting. Yeah, we're going to add them into our group. It's good for me. So we're just going to go into our groups. All right, let's go to groups. Groups. Okay, we'll have one in there in a second. Just checking a couple things in the chat here. Bear with me. Oh, yes to crypto. Sorry, yeah, I was looking at the other chat on Twitch. 1 second. Let's get me in the chat here properly. So a couple things. So yes to cryptos. Asking how we can edit a strategy. Yeah, so right now, it's funny. Someone actually asked this yesterday. It's a great question, and in that user flow, being able to just edit a couple things is really easy. Obviously, in discovery, you can go and edit that strategy that you're actually setting up. But once the strategy is set up, you do need to copy, go change things, delete it. Very shortly, we'll just have an edit button in there. You go change a couple sliders, and it'll be that easy. In terms of recommending a strategy, I mean, the strategies just trigger based on the folks in the group. So if you think that, hey, I'm not getting enough buy action on this strategy or whatever it is, it's probably just because it hasn't triggered based. Maybe your conditions are a little too tight. For example, if I've got 10 people in a group and 2 of them need to buy a token within 5 minutes of each other and buy a minimum of $500, that's like quite a bit of conditions to be met to trigger based on 10 traders. So my suggestions would be, adding groups with more members that take more trades. Again, that is the balance of finding good traders that also take a lot of trades. I think the best traders necessarily don't trade everything. I say the best traders, that's too general. I think that there's traders that are good at getting early on tokens. There's traders that are just smart traders, and it's like being able to build strategies around both. It's contextual to either or. But so my suggestions would be try some groups, especially if you're experimenting for the first time. Try some groups with some low, bankroll. Increase the amount of traders, loosen up the rules. You could just say, hey, if any one person in this group buys a token, trigger and make their minimum buy amount, whatever you think their buy sizing is with conviction. That's something I do with some of the best traders. And then, Crypto also asks, I only have ETH in my wallet. Do we need USDC or something else? You just need ETH in your wallet right now. That is what the rules will trigger based off of. If I go into my wallet and if I only have USDC and I'm trying to get Senpai to buy for me, the swap's trying to happen in ETH, it'll show it'll fail based on insufficient balance. So those are great questions. And I've got my eye on the chat now, and hopefully you're still in here and heard that. If not, I'll make sure to follow up and get you some answers on that. But I'm just checking in on something quickly. It's a great song, Yo Field. So we were looking through this user's trades on Cook. I think we're good with adding them to a group. Okay, great. You heard. Yeah, my bad. I've got 3 chats open, and I was looking at the Twitch one. So you had someone in there poking around, but yeah, no, I hear you. I think so. Yes, Crypto said I just want to trade to execute at this point, so I've had 0 trades. Like I said, they will trigger if the person or the conditions are met in the group. Obviously, we caught one, live earlier here in my orders. Like him, this triggered based on this rule triggered it. I had it, so only one person in the group has to buy $250 of any token. We take profit, stop loss, and our stop loss did trigger on the token dropping off. We lost $1.96. That's all right. And this group, just to walk you through what that looks like on my end, you can see the trade amount here is pretty high for a few of these guys. They might even be using some automated bot. I try not to let any market makers and really mitigate how many automation or automated traders I have in here. But there's quite a few traders, quite a few trades being taken, and the rule along this is really, really low or really loose. So it's going to almost ensure that things trigger. But for example, so there's 33 traders in that group. Gwei's Anatomy, you see aggregate level amount of trades is way lower in this group. This group triggers 1/5 of the time the other one does. And I also, in the strategy section, have, if any, 2 people buy within 3 minutes of each other. And some fine tuning around what would be a good 2-person trigger. Is it within 5 minutes, within 3 minutes, 2 minutes? I think within 1 minute gives you this density of conviction among 2 people that you have added your groups because they're good traders. So, keep the questions coming if there's anything else. Yeah, I think try out some looser groups. I think using, what is like Jason's group in here. Arsalang is frequently at the top of our trading competitions. There's a lot of good groups in here. Ignis has got a great group here. It's got 21 members, but I would look for groups with a couple more members in it if you want to see what that experience looks like. And just a reminder too, if you're setting that up, make sure you go into your settings and choose your communication preference, Telegram or Farcaster, just so you get notified when a trade goes down. So, I've got my phone will just buzz as soon as Senpai buys something for me, sells something for me. Easy way to stay on top of it when you're AFK. But anyway, appreciate you testing things out. And hopefully you get a trade triggered soon. Like I said, base has been pretty sleepy. When I look at DeFi Llama and DEX transactions and volume seem to be off just a little bit versus a month or 2 ago. So we're going to go back to what we were doing here. We have this trader that we found who's sniping these tokens and doing it. And we could see, so total buy amount. So there's a couple ways I could go about this. I could add in, I could build a group that is just trading 1-to-1 on this sniper. That's dangerous. You can get farmed. I don't recommend doing that. But I could add them into my Farcaster Snipers group and say, within 2 minutes, if this trader and another trader buy, over 1,000, a lot of these early buys are going to trigger me in. I might even, I think that, I don't know, I'd probably take this into Excel and figure out exactly what the average buy amount is. But we'll be able to display that shortly. So it's like you won't have to go outside of the tool to go do things. We're just working on building in some of the bells and whistles on, group data, on strategy data, on discover data. But we'll go back to details for Cook. We're going to add this user. So all we're going to do is go into our group, which we have our Thursday research, copy this, and go into Farcaster Snipers. And we're going to add, you know what? That's something we need to just fix up so that you can do this a little more easily. But we'll select that, add user, and that user's been added. And these actually aren't all, sorry, I've named it snipers, but these are just folks that I find are early on a lot of tokens. And that's why I like adding snipers if I can find them. So let's look back through this. There's another trader here that I thought was interesting, this user specifically. So we'll pull up we're just going to go, where are we? There you are. And we're just going to go P&L of this. So we'll pull up that P&L. Yes to crypto. I have 12 strategies now, some more loose than others. You're going to get some trades. I'm sure of that. Keep an eye on it. Let me know. I think you're going to start getting some notifications from Senpai. But yeah, hopefully a couple of them hit for you. So we'll pull this P&L, and then I'll continue looking across Farcaster tokens here. We're going to find some more folks to add in here. And just checking the other chats. It's looking good. Yeah, I love the Discover feature. It's something we've seen a lot of folks in the community asking for. It's probably definitely the most asked about. So notifications, while that's going into research, Yes Crypto asks, where do noties go? Go into your settings at the top. You can edit this, and you can choose Telegram or Farcaster, and you'll just get notifications there. So whichever your preference is. I use Telegram for one of my accounts. I have a second account for like super experimental stuff. That goes to my Farcaster. So whichever you prefer, it's totally your choice. Pretty interesting. I mean, see, this trader is different, not a sniper in the same sense. Definitely, buy sizing is completely different. He's traded lay the token. This ran to like say $500,000 market or $500 million market cap. It was like a 250 to 500 million market cap token. I think if this is the way I'm thinking, which it probably is based on his P&L. 15N, 228 on the upside, only 2 buys. So curious, was he super early, or what's the deal with this trader? Yeah, Lumlay. So we'll go. It's not Tuesday. It's Thursday. This guy looks like he's kind of just trading, hot meta tokens. A couple of these, AI, I think an AI token, Memo AI, yield aggregator agent. So, wouldn't be a fit necessarily for our Farcaster Snipers group, but the Gway's Anatomy group. So just let that think for a second. I've added them to there. So we'll go groups. But if I go to, what should we do here? This Gway's Anatomy's group might be a better fit. These guys trade some pretty serious volume when they buy size. Smart traders, not necessarily as early, but they're buying dips. They're using some advanced trading tools. At least it seems clear to me they are. Yeah, let's go on 7 day. There's no trades on the 1 day. Oh, that's great. So I've already got this guy in my Gway's Anatomy. That's hilarious. So, I mean, good. My logic at least is sound and consistent here. So this user's already been added to our Gway's Anatomy. Let's continue. Let's go take a look at Lay. Again, we're kind of darting across a few different areas here, right? We looked at some Farcaster tokens. Now we're looking at just generally, like Lay was a huge market cap token for a while. You know, it looks like it's curious about the chart shape. I just haven't seen it in a while. Oh, this is a different lay token than what I was thinking. I was running my mouth earlier saying there's like a 200 million market cap, but it's not Loomlay. That's crazy. Looks like a decent run on. Let's get candle switch up here. Okay, it did go to 34 million. A couple local runs here and there. Interesting. Okay. That's quenched my curiosity. Let's take a look here. So, I mean, I don't know what I'm looking at here. 697 on the buy side, out for, you know, over a quarter million. 5174. But it is this kind of, you know what I do like? And at every level of the product, Senpi will resolve OX addresses to either unique identifier, which we're working on doing a bunch of interesting stuff with that. But if there's a base name, if there's an ENS, if there's a Farcaster name, it will always put those first. And I think that reputation is an important part of trading. Obviously, there's a lot of folks out there that are rotating in on OXs, and that's to be expected. But there's a lot of great traders that trade on their ENS, that trade on their base name, that trade on their Farcaster name. They've established themselves. And I think being able to see them, recognize them, like, you know, this trader specifically, I have in one of my groups. It helps me put a human element to that, and reputationally it helps me build groups around certain people as well. Where I'm really, really hesitant to do anything with random OX address with one win. That to me is could be a lot of things in crypto, but I usually stay away from it. So interesting. This is like, you know, we're looking at a handful of AI tokens. I would say more like CT heavy tokens versus Farcaster. And I kind of split those up in my head. Maybe they've merged into one more so, but this is a lifetime analysis. So we're not looking at any specific time slice for this user, but extremely impressive, obviously. Curious about a couple of these. So we're going to go, is this still on Loomlay? Yeah. So we'll grab their OX here, and we'll just chuck it into the maker. I just want to see exactly what it looked like on their end. I mean, they bought 0036, started selling on the way up, and this thing ran to almost 4 cents. Just crazy. So good for them. I mean, something's missing on this. They got tokens from somewhere else. Because we're looking at 94 and 86, and we see a sell here for 324,000 of the lay token. So this could be a lot of things. Probably not a trader I'm going to move on. But we'll take a look at one more with a similar kind of makeup. Maybe we'll switch up on one where they had some actual buy size. So yeah, XBT maybe, which I think we could just, yeah, we'll just drop in here. Yeah, again, so they're getting tokens somewhere along the way here in all of these. This could be like almost anything. Could be team members, could be KOL, could be early pre, you know, investor. So we'll move off this track. This is less interesting to me now. And again, I'm kind of just, that's degen. Oh, it is. Interesting. That makes sense to me as well. Yes to crypto. You got to come to all my streams, man. You can catch me when I fall. That is good to know. Take a look through here. So again, we're kind of just shooting in the dark here. That's a good catch. That's the degen address. This is. Ah. Cool. Time we got here. We're gonna pull up a couple more. I'm gonna go through the groups again one more time and discover. See if there's anything that really sticks out to me. Maybe I can launch a strategy on it. No more buys yet. Our last Senpai buy was about 53 minutes ago. Okay, interesting. So yeah, I mean, if you're adding or looking up tokens at any point in the product, you should just be able to type it plain text and go here, or drop OX, which, sorry, that's not an OX. That's just, yeah, you get the point though. That's good. It worked. Worked when I did degen and selected it from the list. Yeah. All right, what are we looking at here? 5. Yeah, this guy crushes it, or girl. Misato. Right. We're gonna add. I think we're gonna add them to our research group as well. So I'll just go here. See if that works. I actually don't know if I've ever copied it over like that. So, Misato. Assuming this is the one. It looks fairly dead now. Okay, so this user's been added. Let's go to our groups. There's a research. That's our newly added user. So this person's already in 7-figure P&L and Raiders of the Lost Ark groups for me. That's why I said I recognize their ENS, or is this a base name? But we're gonna just quickly toss it in here and just see what they were doing on this token. Just super early. Wow. Yeah. Cool. Just confirming. I mean, in and out. What was the time between this? October 24th. About a month exactly. Who else did really well on this token? Wow. I'll take up the P&L here. And let's see here. So, sleepy day, one buy about an hour ago on ham. Now, I hate to go back and look at a token, but I'm curious. So things weren't getting any better from where we got out, and our stop loss took us out. Let's just take a look here. So you could see maybe the 18% stop loss was the right move here. Again, we kind of bought the top. This green candle here was one of our triggers. This looks like sort of basically the top part of the token. It's happened sometimes. Looking at who I copied in should be the second thing I look at. It's kind of like QA on my group. So if someone consistently buys me into really good tokens really early, I'm going to either, give them greater pull in my groups, tighten up the rules around them, or build a group one-to-one on them if they're the best. There's a couple cases where I've done that, but also, conversely, if someone is buying me into the wrong tokens repeatedly, I will go and start, trimming out them out of my groups or whatever it is. So just quickly, and we'll go back to that P&L in a second. So it's 425D, which fairly solid trader if I'm pulling it off the top of my head. It was this trader here. Let's just see. So we bought at 5361. And they bought 5080. And probably the price increase of their buy is essentially where I bought. So if these guys weren't running a volume, I would pull back and actually go investigate. But typically, Senpai is within 1 TX. Usually the first TX that comes after a copy. Yeah, of course. So yes, to Crypto's asked, if we have addresses we care about, can we create a custom group from that? Yeah, of course. So you could go, let me just show you really quickly here. Create a group called addresses S2C cares about. So we're going to create a new group called addresses yes2C cares about. Yeah. So let me show you exactly how we do this. And I have a group exactly like what you're describing. Actually, with some of those folks too. So first we create the new group, which we're working on a way that you'll just be able to go into the group. We can see, we've created this. We don't want to create a strategy about it yet. We're going to go to our groups now. And you can see addresses yes2C cares about. Click into this and just go add members. So for example, Toady Hawk, add Zinger, add Zinger, add members, Wink. Well, yes, Crypto says, FYI, I'm scared of the profit loss. Senpai thinks about my address. Yeah, we're going to make, and this is partly on us, we're going to make it a little bit easier to find that you can just add anyone on base, whether it's an OX, a base name, an ENS. If you're using third-party, like if you're using a limit order or something that maybe transacts in its own environment, like for example, like our P&L here for Zinger, if he's used a limit order on CowSwap, I'm unsure if that's showing right now. I know we're working on ways to make sure that integrates, but it's pretty much all of the data in there. So yeah, I don't know. My P&L shows weird too. Like if I go to Alex Camo, forgot an important letter. Camo. Oh, you can't add yourself into a group. I can't even show my P&L for you guys. It wouldn't be super spectacular. I've had some good trades, had some bad trades. We're doing a lot of experimental stuff. So let's just go back to what were we? Our last thread we were on here. Well, we were talking through this ham trade, and you can see charts as well. So, for example, a lot of people, we're working on making this easier to find as well. It's like a lot of these little tweak things are going to be really easy with the mobile app. But if you go into any of your trades, like for example, if I go to, let's go to, there's a couple here that, one that's more recent. You'll see Senpai Scam Block. This is, again, Senpai scans every token before you buy it. If it's a honeypot, if it's a rug, nefarious mechanic in the contract, it'll stop the trade before it happens. We're in kind of a V3 to V4 version of this right now. A lot less false positives. It's really, really good right now. Allows me to take some pretty risky stuff, but we could jump into like Spice Must Flow here. I know it said we lost money, but we actually, we made some money here. Bought us in at 23.16. We can see the buys. If you go into this one's way too zoomed in for you guys. And we're on 1 minute candles, so we kind of got to pull it back. So I got on a call with someone, and we had these two buys trigger in the first minute or two of this token. Token skyrocketed. I didn't have take profits on this. It was kind of silly of me. And then I ended up selling it here. But you could see just early exposure into the token here was the winner. This actually triggered on a second rule after the fact. So these just would have been pure sells. But really easy to jump in here and see kind of your charts, see how you did. One that I was really interested in that was really a lot of automated stuff. What's up, OXDECR? How are you? If there's anything you want me to dive into on stream, just comment it. Any questions, anything I can do, well, you've got me here. I'm going to be streaming for about another 20, 30 minutes. And then, I got to get to doing some other stuff here. But offside's one that triggered for us. This was a great trade. This was late last week. Let's just bring this up. And you can see these two trades are part of my ladder strategy. So a $9 trade triggered, a $14 trade triggered, and then, within 1 minute, we had the first sell, which took out this initial principal on this token, or this trade, sorry. Then we ripped the top off this thing. And sorry, when I say we, I mean Senpi ripped the top off, sold $60 worth of it. And then we had another buy trigger, which was not the best timing because we were pretty close to the top, but we already had still so much of the token riding that when the other sell conditions hit, we made, say it was like 150% or something, and it was a great gain. And it's just one that like I didn't really know about until the notifications came through. So there's a story like that, across this, and you see a lot of these like stop losses here. I took a $9 buy and took out 7, and we lost $2. But the long tail strategy is just getting the exposure to a lot of these tokens that otherwise I wouldn't have. Refining strategies so I get more. So DCR says, still learning, so apologize. No apologies here, man. We're all learning. I'm still figuring things out and trying things, so there's no dumb questions on this live stream. Am I also able? I feel like there's something coming after that, but I'll wait for that. So I'll just continue research kind of while you type that out. Who was I just looking up this? B1BC. To have it scanned for new coins under X mark cap instead of stop loss at the same time? Yeah, of course. So let me walk you through how to do that. It's really easy. We're going to go, there's 2 ways to go about it. One, if you have existing groups that you want to use, you can see I have Raiders here, I have Guays, and I have other groups that are by these users that I've copied. I'll walk you through both. So the first thing we're going to do is go into we're going to text prompt one, and then I'll show you how to quick copy trade it. So I'm going to say if any 2 people and we'll use our Raiders. And again, so you use the hashtag, it'll turn blue once it selects it. Buy $500 of a token within 2 minutes of each other. And this is what we're going to do here. We're going to edit this. And the market cap is between, let's say 10K and 50K. Buy me, I'm just going to say $5 of it, sell it at 45% profit and set a stop loss at 22%. This will put everything into play, and I'm going to let this run in a second. But I want to show you can also go and say sell it if either of them sells 50% or sell it for 45% profit. So we're putting 2 take profits in here. We're saying limit order, take profit up 45%. We're also saying, if either of them sell the token, take me out as well. If I see traders that are like swing trading, buy dips, my Raider or my Guays Anatomy group, really smart traders, I almost always use this sell if they sell. But let's run this, show you guys how it looks once it's live. That's a great question. Look, the formatting is tricky. We're working on making it easier and easier so that, you'll be able to set these things up both with natural language as well as just clicking some buttons, which I'll show you the second version of how to do this in a second. That version is using the Discover group, so you'd actually be copying other people's groups. But if you want to use your groups, you use this, you hashtag to add your group, and we see that, Senpai's gone and created this rule for us. And lists out your different sell conditions. So the sell side conditions on this trade are if any one of them sells 50% of it, if the profit reaches 45%, or the stop loss, it'll take us out if we're down 22%. At any point, Senpai will sell the token, exit you from the trade. And then we have the market cap filter that you mentioned. So you could say on the market cap filter end, and let me just show you, I'll do this one more time for you. We can see that this is live in our strategies now. I'm just going to pause it for now. come back to our chat here and say, we'll just run this back one more time, show you one more thing. So we could also go, if any two people buy, we'll keep everything as is, and we'll just say, and the token is under a day old. Buy me $5. So we could say that. We could say under $1 million market cap, over 50K market cap. You can combo those different things up, but let's try it with under a day old. And it'll now look at when was TGE, does this fit the condition the user's added, buy me based on that. So I'll let this sort out, and then I'll show you how to do it in the quick copy sense. So quick copy is in the Discover tab. We'll let that set up, and I'll just jump into the second tab and show you. So if you go to Discover, either on the bottom left in your dashboard section or the very top right of the screen up here, you jump into these, hit Discover, brings you to this page. And it's going to be really easy to set this up here. So you can go copy. You see this edit strategy button? This is the strategy that you're going to use to copy. Anytime you hit this copy button, it is the strategy that will get used. And this is just going to, again, this is literally V1. We launched this yesterday. But I could say buy $5 if any, two people buy at least $50 within 2 minutes of each other. Market cap, more than, less than, add token age, let's say it's got to be less than 30 days old, or more than, we're looking for, mature tokens that smart traders are buying. You can adjust these to fit the different strategies. Then you can change this, 20% gains, drops by 18%, less than, 50K. We save that. And then all we're going to do is just find one that we like. So maybe I filter top ROI in the last 30 days. And we look at, different things here. We have an active strategy there. I'm looking for something with a couple members in it. That's too many trades for me. Jason's got a good one here. 45% ROI, 59% win rate. We can hit copy. That's live. So that's the other way to go about it. You see this one that I just set up is live now. Market cap must be under 50. And we just created this here. You see the timestamp. Let me know if that answers your question. If you're having any more problems with it, I'm just going to flash this QR code on the screen again. So we had a bunch of people join since we started over an hour and 20 minutes ago. This QR code will bring you into our dojo. This is the Senpi team official Telegram. There's just about 750 traders in there now. We transparently talk about groups, strategies. It's an awesome place to ask questions like this and let us know what you think about the product. If something doesn't work, we want to know about it as soon as possible so we can make it right. It's a great place to give us feedback on what you like, on what you don't like, as well as learn about things that are coming down the pipe that our team's working on. So jump in there. It's a really great community, and it's just kind of at the start and really growing fast. So you scan that QR code, it'll bring you in. I see a couple folks scanning it now. We'll catch you guys in there. I think for today, that's pretty much going to close out the stream. We have one more question from OXDECR, and then I'm going to shut it out for today. His other question is, I guess my other question is, does Senpi have to copy trade at least one person, or could it scan base and buy tokens based on the parameters we set? This is a great question. Look, I think today there is this necessity of need to copy trade other traders. I think the future of Senpi is starting to recommend tokens to buy, is looking at your wallet, what it holds, and layering that level of intelligence on it. And so it'll be able to go from this semi-autonomous, which I'd say we are now, you're still putting some human elements into it, into a more closer to a full autonomy world. But TBD, we'll keep you guys posted on that. Today it's still based around you finding good traders or other Senpi folks building really great groups, backing those groups with on-chain data, success metrics, and then you finding groups and strategies that fit within your risk tolerance and kind of what you're trying to do. But I think that's a great question, and I think the future is very, very much fully autonomous. And yes to crypto, to close out the screen, has said he's making a huge 70+ Farcaster group, and we'll try that. So let me know how that goes. Really curious on the findings, whether you win or lose. And yeah, let me know any feedback, and thanks for joining the stream, guys. we're going to shut it down there. We'll be back tomorrow. I know it's July 1st. A lot of you guys, or sorry, it's July 4th. Well, I had July 1st earlier in the week, Canada Day. But I know all you guys have Independence Day coming up tomorrow. Please be safe. Have a great Independence Day. And if you are plugged in at all, I'll be vibe trading just after 11:30 Eastern till about 12 p.m., 1 p.m. Eastern. We'll be running through a lot of the same stuff. We'll be talking about new features that are up and coming next week. And we'll be talking about some of the trades that Senpai's taken for us over this week. So with that said, thanks for joining. We'll catch you guys in the trenches, and I'll see you next time.